Olivia Williams sighed with relief as she entered the high-rise building in Boston. Escaping the harsh December cold, she headed toward the office of the advertising agency, Creative Spark. Her cell phone rang, and the screen displayed the name Aiden. "Mom, Mrs. Johnson showed my painting to the whole class." Everyone applauded. The excited voice of her 10-year-old son came through the phone. "That's wonderful. Let's celebrate with a special dinner tonight. What would you like to eat?" Olivia replied with a smile. While pressing the elevator button, she genuinely rejoiced in her son's success. Aiden had shown remarkable artistic talent from a young age. His paintings weren't just childish scribbles, they had emotion and depth. Teachers at the local art school had begun to take notice of his talent. Although Olivia was successful as a creative director, her personal life had been tumultuous. She had divorced 3 years ago and had been raising Aiden alone ever since. Balancing work and parenting was difficult, but she never gave up. Upon reaching the office, she immersed herself in planning a campaign for a new client. In the evening, she noticed a missed call from her mother, Eleanor. Reluctantly, she returned the call. "Olivia, why didn't you answer your phone today?" Eleanor's voice always carried a slightly critical tone. "I was working, Mom. Had an important meeting." "Is something wrong?" "Melissa landed a new client. It's a big contract. Wonderful news for the company." Eleanor's voice was filled with pride. Eleanor ran Williams Realty, a real estate company in an affluent Boston suburb. She was a meticulous woman who always demanded perfection. Olivia's sister Melissa worked at her mother's company and had an 8-year-old daughter named Zoe. "That's wonderful. Tell Melissa congratulations," Olivia forced a cheerful voice. "By the way, Aiden was recognized at his art class today." "That's nice." Eleanor's response was flat. "This weekend, there's Zoe's ballet recital. Can you come?" Olivia sighed. "I told you last week. It conflicts with Aiden's art exhibition. His work is being displayed for the first time." "Oh, that's right. I forgot." "Well, Melissa and Zoe will be very disappointed. Especially Zoe. She's been improving so much with her ballet lately." After hanging up, Olivia stared out the window. Her relationship with her mother had always been complicated. Eleanor doted on Melissa and her granddaughter Zoe, while being strict with Olivia and distant with Aiden. Olivia had tried many times to improve their relationship, but Eleanor always made excuses about being busy with business and prioritized time with Melissa's family. That night, Olivia ordered Aiden's favorite pizza, and they sat together on the couch in their apartment living room. Aiden enthusiastically talked about events at school and new projects at his art class. He had curly black hair and kind brown eyes like his mother. "I want to show Grandma my paintings too. Do you think she'll come to my art show this weekend?" Aiden asked with a hopeful voice. Olivia hesitated, unsure how to respond. She didn't want to give her son false hope. "Aiden, Grandma is very busy. She might not be able to come, but we'll have a wonderful time even if it's just us. But I painted a special picture for Grandma too." Aiden looked somewhat disappointed. "I know, you're so thoughtful." Olivia gently stroked her son's head. "But sometimes, people don't respond the way we want them to. That doesn't diminish your talent or worth." Aiden thought for a moment, then nodded. "Okay, I understand. But I won't give up. I think someday Grandma will like my paintings." Olivia was touched by her son's optimistic attitude. Aiden had the ability to find hope even in difficult situations. This was an important lesson that she herself sometimes forgot. She hugged Aiden tight. "You're such a special child, Aiden. Never forget that." Outside the window, snow began to fall quietly, announcing the approach of the Christmas season. Olivia wished that family relationships would grow a little warmer this winter. But deep down, she knew it wouldn't be an easy wish to fulfill. In mid-December, Olivia received an email titled "William's Family Christmas Party" in her inbox. The sender was Melissa. She quickly opened the email and scanned through it. The list included Eleanor's siblings, relatives, and close local friends. But Olivia immediately noticed that her and Aidan's names were missing. Was this just an oversight? "Melissa, thanks for the Christmas party email. But I don't see my name or Aidan's on the list. Aren't we invited?" Olivia asked Melissa directly over the phone. "Oh, Olivia." Melissa's voice sounded a bit troubled. "Mom made the guest list. I just sent out the email. So we're not invited." Olivia's voice remained calm, but inside she felt a mix of anger and sadness. "I'm sorry. You know Mom's personality, right? Once she makes up her mind, she doesn't change it," Melissa said as if making an excuse. After ending the conversation, Olivia stood by the living room window, gazing at the snow outside. The annual Williams family Christmas party had been a tradition since she was a child. Even after her father passed away, Eleanor had cherished and continued the tradition. But this year, Olivia and Aidan were excluded from the family circle. "Mom, is something wrong?" Aidan asked when he returned from school, noticing his mother's dejected appearance. Olivia hesitated for a moment about whether to tell her son the truth, but quickly made up her mind. "Aidan, we're not invited to the Christmas party at Grandma's house this year." Aidan's expression clouded. "Why? Did we do something wrong?" "No, you haven't done anything wrong. Sometimes adults are complicated." Olivia chose her words carefully. "We'll have our own wonderful Christmas. I'll make special plans." Aidan was quiet for a moment, but then his face filled with determination. "I understand. But I still want to prepare Christmas presents for Grandma, Zoe, and Aunt Melissa." "Really?" Olivia was surprised. "Yes. I've started a special project in art class. I'm drawing portraits of everyone in the family. I want to give them to Grandma and everyone else." Olivia felt a warmth in her chest at her son's kindness. His pure heart transcended the complex emotions and conflicts of adults. "You really are a wonderful child, Aidan." Over the next few weeks, Aidan spent his after-school hours and weekends carefully drawing portraits of each family member. He put his heart into each picture, paying attention to every detail. He spent extra time on Eleanor's portrait, trying to capture her strength and dignity. On December 24th, Christmas Eve arrived. Olivia and Aidan decorated their apartment and prepared a special dinner just for the two of them. Aidan adorned the Christmas tree with ornaments he had made at school, and Olivia prepared several of his favorite dishes. After dinner, Aidan started on his homework, while Olivia scrolled through her smartphone on the sofa. Suddenly, she noticed that Melissa's social media account had been updated. Melissa was live streaming from Eleanor's house, showing the party. Against her better judgment, Olivia opened the live stream out of curiosity. The screen showed Eleanor's living room, elegantly decorated. Family and friends chatted in stylish attire, and piles of presents were stacked around the Christmas tree. "Welcome, everyone, to this year's Christmas party." Melissa's voice came from behind the camera. "Mom, come over here and say a few words." The camera captured Eleanor. She was wearing an elegant red dress and smiling with a wine glass in hand. "Thank you all for gathering at our home again this year. This time with family and friends is the most special moment of the year for me." Olivia looked at the portrait Aidan had drawn of his grandmother as she listened to her mother's words on the screen. Aidan had captured her appearance with surprising accuracy, her confident smile, dignified posture, and even something complex hidden in her eyes. Eleanor raised her glass and continued, "I have a wonderful grandchild. The camera panned to Zoe sitting on the sofa. She was wearing a new dress and smiling proudly. But what about Aiden? Melissa's voice asked, sounding a bit tense. Eleanor shrugged and answered with a smile still on her face. Was there such a child? My grandchild is right here in front of me. At those words, Olivia's body froze. Laughter spread throughout the room, coming through her smartphone speakers. The guests laughed easily at Eleanor's joke. Olivia closed the app with trembling hands and put down the phone. Tears welled up in her eyes. Her mother's words denying her son's existence hurt her more deeply than she could have imagined. Are you okay? Aiden looked up from his homework and asked with concern. Olivia came back to her senses and quickly wiped away her tears. She moved from the sofa to sit beside him and hugged him tightly. I'm fine, just. I love you so much. What's wrong? Did something happen? Aiden sensed that something was amiss with his mother. Olivia took a deep breath. She thought she shouldn't lie. Aiden, I watched a bit of the party at Grandma's house. Is everyone having fun? Aiden asked with genuine curiosity. Aiden. Olivia chose her words carefully. Grandma said something that didn't acknowledge you. That made me sad. Aiden nodded quietly. He was 10 years old but was beginning to understand the complex emotional world of adults. It's not my fault, right? Absolutely not, Olivia said firmly. This is Grandma's issue, not yours. Aiden stood up silently and went to his room. When Olivia followed him with concern, she found him sitting at his desk where the portraits of all family members were arranged. He was particularly focused on Eleanor's portrait. It's okay, Mom. We have our own Christmas. Though he tried to sound brave, his voice trembled slightly. I still believe Grandma will change someday. Olivia was touched by her son's mature response. She sat next to him and put her arm around his shoulders. Your strength and kindness are truly special. Someday, Grandma will realize that too. Outside the window, snow continued to fall silently, gently enveloping their small family. As winter gave way to spring, new vitality emerged in the streets of Boston. Melting snow flowed through the streets, and new buds began to sprout on the trees. On a Saturday, 3 months after the Christmas incident, Olivia and Aiden were heading to the community center. Nervous? Olivia glanced at Aiden in the rearview mirror while driving. Aiden was carefully holding a portfolio containing his paintings in the back seat. A little. But my teacher said my paintings are special, so I think I'll be okay. Today was the regional junior art contest. Aiden's art teacher had recognized his talent and strongly encouraged him to participate in this competition. Your paintings truly are special. They convey your sensitivity and thoughtfulness. Olivia genuinely believed this. Upon arriving at the community center, it was already bustling with children and parents. Works by children of various ages were displayed on the walls, and judges walked around taking notes while examining the pieces. Aiden's entry was an oil painting with the theme, My Family. It depicted him and Olivia, as well as Eleanor, Melissa, and Zoe. He had captured each family member's expression and posture remarkably well, expressing each person's individuality in vibrant colors. What was particularly striking were the subtle threads of light connecting all family members. The technique used to express the invisible bonds between family members was surprisingly sophisticated for a 10-year-old boy. Young William's work is quite remarkable, an elderly judge approached Olivia. It's astonishing to see such emotional expression and technique at such a young age. When the results were announced, Aiden's name was called for the Outstanding Young Artist Award. A big round of applause erupted from the audience, and Aiden shyly went up on stage. Congratulations, Aiden! Olivia proudly exclaimed. The next day, the cultural section of the local paper, Boston Community Times, featured a large photo of Aiden and his work. The article, headlined "10-Year-Old Prodigy Explores Emotional Complexity Through Family," highly praised Aiden's talent. After reading the newspaper article, Olivia decided to realize an idea she had been contemplating for a long time. She began drafting a business plan for a children's art workshop called Little Artist Studio. While Aiden's talent had emerged naturally from within him, Olivia believed that all children should have the opportunity to express themselves through art. "Aiden, there's something I've been thinking about," Olivia said to her son during dinner one evening. "I want to open an art studio for children. A place where talented children like you can express themselves through art." Aiden's eyes lit up. "That's awesome. Can I help?" "Of course. You can be a special assistant instructor. And we can display your work in the studio to inspire other children." Within a few weeks, Olivia's idea began to take concrete shape. She used her experience in the advertising industry to develop marketing strategies targeting parents. Thanks to Aiden's contest victory in the newspaper article, his name was already known among local parents. As plans for opening Little Artist Studio progressed, an unexpected development occurred. One of the parents from Aiden's art class was a client of Eleanor's real estate company. When that parent talked about Aiden's talent and Olivia's new studio plans, many of Eleanor's clients began to show interest in Olivia's studio. "Clients from Grandma's company are coming to our studio?" Aiden asked with surprise. "It seems so. It's a small town, so people's connections are surprisingly close," Olivia explained. The rumor also reached Melissa's ears. One day, she entered Eleanor's office and said, "Mom, Olivia and Aiden have become quite the talk of the town lately." Eleanor responded without looking up from her documents, "Yes, I heard. The boy won some art contest, didn't he?" "It's more than that. Olivia is planning to open an art studio for children. And several of our clients have already shown interest," Melissa said cautiously. Eleanor reluctantly acknowledged, "It seems she has business talent as well." Meanwhile, Olivia was looking for a suitable location to expand her studio. The small-scale workshops she had initially started were quickly gaining popularity, and she needed a larger space. Coincidentally, a new commercial facility handled by Eleanor's real estate company perfectly matched the location Olivia was seeking. "Mom, should I contact Williams Realty?" Aiden asked innocently while looking at a catalog. Olivia hesitated for a moment. "Yes, business is business. We need a good location." She prepared a professional business plan and made contact. As expected, Eleanor herself handled the matter. She reluctantly agreed to meet with Olivia for business, but maintained a strictly professional attitude throughout. And she continued to ignore Aiden's existence. "This building holds a lot of potential," Olivia said during the negotiation, maintaining a professional attitude. "I believe my studio will also increase visitor traffic to the entire facility." Eleanor responded coolly, "Your business plan is certainly interesting. However, don't forget that new businesses always involve risks." "Of course. That's why I've conducted thorough market research," Olivia continued confidently. On the final day of negotiations, Olivia brought a presentation board adorned with Aiden's paintings. It wasn't just a business plan, it embodied her vision of nurturing children's creativity and self-expression through art. "This studio is not just a business. It's a place to nurture children's creativity and self-expression," Olivia explained passionately. "Our workshops are already supported by many local families. And with talented children like Aiden serving as mentors, even more children will be inspired." Her presentation had also attracted the attention of local media. At the back of the conference room, a reporter from the local newspaper was eagerly taking notes. Eleanor found herself in a difficult position. She had a personal desire to reject Olivia's proposal, but also didn't want to miss a good business opportunity. In the end, her business instincts won out. Discuss the contract terms with my secretary, Eleanor said calmly. She still wasn't ready to truly acknowledge Aiden's talent, but she was forced to recognize Olivia as a business partner. After the meeting ended and the reporters left, Olivia stood in front of Eleanor and said firmly, "The business talk is over. But let me say one thing. Our studio is family-run. That's my family with Aiden." Eleanor didn't respond, but Olivia's words seemed to have left something in her heart. Olivia felt jubilant. She was forging a new path for Aiden and other talented children. And most importantly, she was moving forward on her own strength. Instead of waiting for Eleanor's approval, she was carving her own path. On the opening day of Little Artist's Studio, Olivia was busy with preparations from early morning. The brightly colored walls had spaces reserved for children's artwork, and tables and chairs of various sizes were arranged to accommodate different age groups. In the most prominent place, Aiden's award-winning work, My Family, was displayed. "Mom, how's this picture arrangement?" Aiden asked while holding a small frame. He was setting up his own workspace, a small desk for himself as an instructor and an easel for guiding other children. "Perfect," Olivia replied with a smile. "Are you nervous?" "Just a little," Aiden admitted honestly. "But I'm more excited." The opening ceremony attracted local families, school officials, and community business leaders. Eleanor didn't show up, but some staff from her real estate company attended as business associates. Melissa stood modestly at the back. After the opening speech, she approached Olivia. "It's a wonderful studio," Melissa said, looking a bit nervous. "Zoe says she wants to join the art classes too." Olivia was surprised. "Of course, she's welcome. I'm sure Aiden would be happy about that." In the first few weeks, the studio gained more popularity than expected. Aiden's classes were always full, and his gentle teaching method and talent captured the children's hearts. He patiently taught children younger than himself, and in the process, he also grew. The studio's success had a positive impact on Eleanor's real estate business as well. Her commercial facility attracted new visitors, and the value of the entire property increased. For business benefits, Eleanor began to make superficial approaches to mend her relationship with Olivia. One day, as Olivia was doing paperwork, the front door bell rang. Looking up, she saw Eleanor standing there. "Mom!" Olivia exclaimed in surprise. "What brings you here?" Eleanor answered, appearing a bit uncomfortable, "I came to have a look. As the landlord who invested in this facility, I have a duty to check what kind of business is being conducted." It was an excuse, but Olivia didn't pursue it further. "Please, let me show you around." When they entered the main room of the studio, Aiden was surrounded by children. He was gently guiding them, bringing out each child's creativity. The children's smiles and enthusiastic engagement filled the room with a bright atmosphere. Eleanor was visibly surprised by the scene. She stood quietly, observing her grandson's mature demeanor. When Aiden turned around, he noticed his grandmother. He seemed surprised for a moment but quickly nodded politely, said, "Hello, Grandma," and immediately returned to instructing his students. Eleanor was clearly taken aback by this calm response. She had expected a more emotional reaction, or at least some confusion at her presence. However, Aiden prioritized his role and responsibilities with a mature attitude. "He has talent," Eleanor quietly acknowledged. "Yes, he does," Olivia agreed. "He always has." After the tour, back in the office, Eleanor said, choosing her words carefully, "Your business seems to be doing better than expected." "Thank you," Olivia maintained a professional attitude. "Aiden and I are working hard to make this studio a special place that nurtures children's creativity." Eleanor nodded but showed no further emotion. She returned to business topics, discussing contract renewals and facility improvements. Olivia also focused on business matters, not touching on personal issues. Several weeks passed, and the studio's first anniversary was approaching. Olivia began planning an event to celebrate this milestone. How about an event with family as the theme? Olivia suggested to Aiden. We'll display works created by the children over the past year with family as the theme, celebrating family bonds. That sounds great. Aiden responded excitedly. But soon his expression changed. Should we invite Grandma and Aunt Melissa's family too? Olivia pondered for a moment. If that's what you want, we'll invite them. This is your studio too, so your opinion matters. After deep thought, Aiden made his decision. Let's invite our new family, the studio family. The students and their families, and those who have supported us. Olivia was impressed by her son's mature judgment. On the day of the first anniversary, the studio was decorated festively, with children's artwork displayed all over the walls. Parents and community members gathered to celebrate the children's growth and creativity. As the time for the opening speech approached, Olivia noticed the door opening. Turning around, she saw Eleanor, Melissa, and Zoe standing there. Olivia couldn't hide her surprise. Eleanor approached her. I contacted you about attending, but heard we weren't invited. We came anyway. Her voice unusually contained a hint of anxiety. I'm glad you came, Olivia responded calmly. As the event progressed, it was time for Aiden to take the stage. He appeared slightly nervous but began speaking with confidence. Thank you all for coming today. This is a special day celebrating the first anniversary of our studio. He paused briefly and continued, Today, I'd like to present a special work. An assistant brought out a large canvas. It was the family portrait he had painted at Christmas, depicting Eleanor, Melissa, Zoe, Olivia, and himself. However, this time, many children and their families from the studio had been added around them. It was his new family that had expanded through the studio. This past year, I've learned a lot, Aiden spoke quietly yet powerfully. True family isn't just about blood ties, but respecting and loving each other. Our studio has become a place that nurtures such family bonds. The venue fell silent, and tears glistened in the eyes of many parents. Eleanor was no exception. Tears streamed down her face. After the speech, Eleanor slowly approached Aiden. That was a wonderful speech, Aiden, she said with a trembling voice. Will you forgive me? Grandma was wrong. Aiden thought for a moment, then smiled and extended his hand. Let's make this a new beginning, Grandma. In that moment, something changed. It wasn't just the beginning of reconciliation, but the dawn of a new relationship based on true understanding and respect. A year later, the Christmas season had returned to Boston. There was more snow this year, and a pure white landscape could be seen from the windows of Little Artist Studio. Inside the studio, it was warm and festively decorated for Christmas. This year, the Williams family Christmas party was to be held at Olivia's studio. I think this tablecloth works better, Aiden said with a serious expression as he helped with the decorations. He had turned 11 and was gradually growing from a boy into a young man. Your sense is truly remarkable, Olivia smiled. She had experienced many changes over the past year. The studio was successful, and she had learned to believe in her own talents and vision. And above all, family relationships had been gradually mending. The door opened, and Melissa and Zoe entered. Can we help with anything? Melissa asked in a much friendlier manner than before. Of course. Could you prepare the dessert table? Olivia replied. Behind them, Eleanor appeared. She was carrying large paper bags in both hands. Christmas presents, she said, looking a bit embarrassed. Eleanor had changed significantly recently. She had acknowledged her mistakes in front of the family and formally apologized to Olivia and Aiden. Most surprisingly, she had started attending therapy. For a long time, I was trapped by the appearance of perfection, Eleanor confided to Olivia one day. After your divorce, I feared the label of a failed family. And that fear ended up hurting you and Aidan. Olivia was touched by this honesty. It was the first time she had seen her mother acknowledge her own weaknesses. Melissa had also changed. She reflected on how she had gone along with her mother's behavior and was making efforts to repair her relationship with her sister and nephew. Zoe had become an enthusiastic student in Aidan's art class, and a special bond had formed between the two cousins. Aidan had achieved many successes over the past year. He had earned a scholarship from a renowned regional art school and was attending special weekend classes. His works were featured in multiple exhibitions, and he was recognized as a promising young artist. Olivia and Aidan's studio had become an important part of the community, and Eleanor was now helping with business expansion using her real estate expertise. The combination of their different expertise was leading the studio to new growth. As evening came, the party began. Family and friends gathered at the studio, and the room was filled with warm conversations and laughter. On the walls, alongside the children's artwork, hung a new family portrait specially painted by Aidan. It included not only their immediate family but also the studio students and their families who had supported them. "May I have your attention, please?" Eleanor stood up, holding a glass. Waiting for the room to quiet down, she continued, "I have two wonderful grandchildren, Zoe and Aidan. And there's so much I can learn from them. Especially you, Aidan, your generosity and creativity have taught me the most important lesson in life." Tears glistened in her eyes. Family isn't about being perfect, it's about loving and supporting each other. "Thank you for teaching me that." Warm applause erupted from around the room. Olivia put her arm around Aidan's shoulders, and he smiled contentedly. There were tears in their eyes as well. After a long journey, they had finally regained the true bonds of family. Outside the window, snow continued to fall quietly, gently enveloping their hearts with hope for the new year.